Hi, everyone. Hello, Warriors. How you, Mike?
Good morning, guys.
Good to be with you. We're at TradeGATEHub.com, and Mike, I want to talk about a trade that you were in that it's one thing to make a great call. It's another thing then to turn it into a good trade. But I think the toughest thing for most traders is a great hold. And, I've witnessed several from you over the last couple of years, but really kudos for getting long the miners. Here's GDX, back last year, October, November. And I believe you were seeing like option sweeps of people going out to April, which told you that this was not just like a weekly expiration for a pop, that there was something major happening. And excellent hold, Mike.
I appreciate that.
Really nice trade. You wouldn't have the P&L on those trades on the miners that you could share, do you?
Absolutely. I'll have
All
them.
right, so
I mean, yeah.
all right, so
I don't want to
let's
be
show it.
obnoxious about it, but it was a good trade.
Yeah, and you got out. You liquidated. I think the day before the employment report, which really took the metals down, because we're kind of having a repricing of rates here, and it's my view that this was a pretty impressive move. Looks like a breakout to me. And when I look at it longer term, I think the market's wrong-footed on a lot of different things because people were looking for lower yields to continue. And if we hold the levels from last week, we could see the 10-year trade up towards initially 380 and 4% or maybe new highs. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here, and that's why we're getting a bounce in the dollar and the sell-off in the metals.
The reason why thank you for the trade. Look at this one thing about pods. The reason why I entered the trade in the golds was the opposite of why I actually exited. Wow.
That's a good reason.
And that was because I believe I started entering. I think it was I don't know, November, December, something like that was the chart. Yeah, no, yeah, December. Yeah, right around there. Maybe even mid this. Okay, so the market was in a precarious position at the moment, and I don't want to sound all cerebral because I'll get down to the point. The bottom line is there was option flow, like Coach said, going out till April and June, starting with the first one, which was AEM, and the second one was WPM. And not that caught my attention for many reasons. First of all, they're both, one of the first, what really kickstarted, Coach, go to that GFI chart. Remember that GFI move?
Yeah, that was that's right. I have it here, GFI right here. And they made a bid for Yamana, but it was this move, and also Newmont, similar move off the bottoms, not as dramatic as this, but you're right. This is what caught your eye.
That spike. Okay. And that's right not like a meme. You know what I mean? That might even be what do they call it, a meme stock before. I think no, actually, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. No, it wasn't. They wouldn't take up. It takes a lot for gold. That stock. Believe me, that's a heavily hedged fund stock. You can't move it. If it moves 10 cents, it would be a big move, right, Coach?
Yeah, it doubled. Almost.
Okay, so that caught my attention, and that was back when that started to move.
That was the beginning of November, which was pretty close to the October low in the market.
We were talking about Newmont. We were having a debate about Newmont being why it wasn't the best to breed for about 3 months from October to December,
and it turned out to be.
Okay, that's correct. The laggard turned out well, except for today's little.
Wasn't this classic, Mike? How they shook everyone out with a stop hunt under major support at 40, and your signal was actually the next time they got back above 40 that it was just a shakeout move, and you had the patience to ride all this stuff out for weeks and a few months. I think this is a bad tick, and now you know what? Newmont's making a bid for Crestview, I believe.
Yes.
So the big players are coming in now, looking to, they're obviously bullish their own commodity, and they want to add production to their bottom line. So Newmont made a bid. I think we're going to see a lot more of it after this gold correction runs its course.
Seriously, I can't agree more. That's my macro. you want to call it a macro view, fine. Again, so the reason why I entered them was they had huge option flow,
Yeah,
rare option flow and then they started acting well to back it up. So
right.
that's like somebody's, I don't know what that is. That's like, double down, that's like splitting, it's doubling down. I don't know what the
It was, the market was proving itself. So the guys that came in and spec'd with April calls were being, confirmed what they were
right,
doing.
right, coach. I'm not the smart money. I'm the person that tries to be the middleman to tell you what the smart money is doing and why.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So I did that. Now, why did I exit them? Okay, let's go to the exit.
All right. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you take the charts. Maybe you could show the, your P&L on some of those gold shares that you did, because, people don't do that. People talk about their winners. Most people can't show them. And that's something else that sets us apart. And also, you're talking about, being underwater on the VIX. There's some hope there, Mike, in the VIX. I bought June 25 calls last week, VIX
Okay,
calls.
got you. You know what I mean? I'm not going to talk anybody out of, first of all, I'm not going to talk you out of anything anyway. So
Who can?
you're not
Yeah.
that type.
Yeah.
So, what
Let's
was I
see
saying?
see if you have the P&L on some of those
Yeah, hold on.
mining positions that you took off Friday. What a great out, Mike. I mean, if you get long now, you captured the majority of that move. I think at least 2/3. And even if you started recommitting to the market here, it was still a good out. You put money in the bank and you could start, scaling again. I don't think it's time yet, but we'll see. It's hard to be cute about a long-term trend like this. So,
I'll have the P&L for you, coach, because it's on MT5. You know what I mean?
okay, okay,
I don't use it on Sterling.
okay,
It's like I have to download a file.
okay.
No
Yeah,
problem.
maybe you could post it in the room. People could come take a look when you have a chance later, so
Believe me,
people
I'll make
know.
sure. Let me hold, keep talking.
All right. So anyway, you want to get to some of the miners and where if you have charts, where you might think about stepping back in on a few that you liquidated Friday.
The miners.
Right.
Listen, I'm going to see. I don't know why I can't get this up. I'm going to see how Newmont acted. Right, Newmont's in the news for fundamental news, correct?
Yeah, we're just seeing the TradeView Markets
I know. Hold on.
website and a beautiful nature scene.
That's Tony Pistachio on the bottom left. This is where he hikes.
Okay, nice. He's got a good life.
He does.
Can I come back as your dog?
Coach, you come back and you're my friend. You don't need my. Look, there's a cliche. When Michael has, everybody has.
All right.
Well, I went broke 4 times. No, I'm only kidding. Okay, so here we are. Market's doing well right now. Okay. All right, so
yeah,
where am I going with the miners here? Here are the miners for me long term. All right, so I don't. Let's look at the first 2 stocks of what I got in for the very reason. Let's look at AEM. You know what I mean? I just that's going to. I don't know what. Can I tell you something? I don't know what to think.
Yeah, that's fair. Me either. I mean,
I
don't want to short them. I feel like I might be early buying them here. So there is a big inflation number next week, Mike.
Well,
and
Powell
we've got
in 45 minutes.
Oh, that too. Yeah, that's closer. The inflation number, we've gotten nothing but great news on the inflation front. Maybe that changes and they sell the gold off, because that'll kind of reinforce that rates aren't going lower, that they're going to be higher for longer, just like Powell has been saying, and the market's been fighting. The market could continue to fight it, but there are certain things that everyone was very bearish a dollar. So
Yes.
I'm looking for a rally in euro to sell into, and cable and Aussie, because this to me is only the first wave down that we've had and the first wave up in the dollar. So it's okay not to know where you would go back in. What are we looking at here? AI?
Oh, well, we're looking at, well, this is my general universe. You're
Yeah,
looking at
okay.
stocks today where, like I said, it's not a cop out. I could really give you, I believe, you could probably give me more, not to the contest. I mean, extrapolating longer, I could give you 10 good reasons and probably convince you why the dollar could go up and or go down. Believe me. No?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
five
you
maybe.
could.
Okay. I don't want, like I said, this is not the time. It's still been stock picking and how stocks are reacting to news. If you had pin interest that at one point was down, the low of the day on pins is what today? I'm just giving an example of 26, and right now it's 27. 2 months ago, that would have brought down everything. Microsoft, to give the example here,
Yeah.
post earnings, a
Yeah.
huge move, gap up, had time to digest it. That type of
That
move
looks
right there.
great.
You
Looks
have
great.
DuPont. Like, I don't think people are still short DuPont.
No.
DuPont had something like DuPont had a big number today, bottom to the right, up
Yeah.
$3. And if you're on TradeGATEHub, you'll know that, for the same reasons why we were buying stocks are complete
Look at
antithesis.
that divergence on it's not confirming this. How it almost reminds me of what you showed in Chevron a week ago before
Well,
it came off.
I made a similar trade this morning, and you know what? I'm going to let everybody know, or at least remind you. I'm not the judge and the jury. Please remember that Helene, she patented price action trump sentiment. A lot of
Everything.
things didn't make sense. For example, Spotify, for example, had a horrible quarter. That keeps going up. I actually covered it well. I digress. Okay, RCL, Royal Caribbean. Much like the DuPont trade, in my opinion, could have acted similar. I mean, they're both one of those mega reported by the news. So RCL, I'm saying this morning, I'm like, all right. So I did my proverbial due diligence. It obviously didn't matter. The stock, the broken line is where it closed at 69.13. The
Right.
stock opened at 72. I started shorting it where? 72.69. Then I turned my back and it's 74.89, $2.
Yeah, that's quick.
So I'm like, all right, now I'm down two. Now I got to, now the feeler turned into a trade. Now I got to concentrate on it.
Right.
All right. So I'm now $2 on 2,000 shares or whatever. So I short more, 74.85. And it's not really what I do. It's my plan of where I plan to go higher or where my threshold was, regardless of how the trade worked out. Okay. So I'm saying here, now the stock is at 75. It's starting to round off a little bit. At the same time, I'm watching CCL. Naturally, goes with it. I'm also aware that CCL is one of these meme stocks, and they are still running them. Don't get me wrong. Then I punch up NLCH, Norwegian, which, by the way, is a meme stock. Trust me, there's no way you think that would be that way. So I'm saying to myself, all right, this could turn ugly. It's one of these cliches where sometimes your smallest trades can turn into your biggest losers. I'm serious. That's what I'm thinking.
I've done it.
I'm in it now. Not this one, a particular one, not a huge loser. It's just, as I said before, don't be buying garbage. You know what I mean? This is a time where the rotation is so whatever, where these meme stocks died the last 2 days, where the cream of the crop, Meta's having a huge range. Microsoft's up 6, Apple Computer.
Yeah,
I mean,
Apple.
Look at the Apple chart. The Nasdaq's up 12 days in a row. 11 out of 12.
Yeah.
So for those that like to bet against streaks, I don't do that anymore. I only enter it because of some catalyst. I'm going to get to the point here, which is either a print, a volume flush. It's not just like this. I don't just go at saying, oh, this is definitely too high right now. There's usually a reason. So a stock, look at the cues. Apple had every chance to brush it off with huge volume, still holding well, all moving averages. And you know what, Coach? You don't have to really pick the market. There's a rotation. So the gold might pull back. So as Tesla gave a little bit, big deal. The coin, oh boy, the coin, I messed this trade up, is having a rotation. Lennar, the home builders are pulling back a little bit. Walmart, the retailers are down. Caterpillar still giving it back, rotating properly. Caterpillar should be up 5 or 6 with DuPont having this type of day.
How about Deere? Deere got hammered too in the last week or so. Yeah.
And you know what?
That still looks ugly.
It's in the wrong sector right now. It doesn't mean it's going to zero. It's just the
380 maybe.
The rotation is evident to tip your hand on where to go. That's all.
Okay.
You don't have to guess the market. You just have to play between the ranges and be aware of what the dollar's doing. Here it is, the TLT still making it. Look at the move on the TLT, the daily. The UUP was a big move, obviously. Yesterday was teetering on pulling the market one way or the other. And it still might do that, Powell speaking shortly. So we're getting back to all the general indicators. The dollar, The bond market, we're looking at the
Yeah.
VIX, which by the way, in all honesty, I mean, the reason why you're not seeing a lot of reversals and seeing some stocks staying that way. And Royal Caribbean, by the way, I'll tell you where I finished the trade, still is up $2. But I wound up covering. My average price is what,
Yeah.
75. I covered at 71. That's a $4 move.
Nice,
So
Mike.
would that be? Well, I still left a couple of dollars on the table, but whatever. It was a poor timing. Next, as you would say.
Yeah.
So
Don't expect perfection at the correct time.
never. No,
Yeah.
that's egotistical. That'll kill you. So with that being said, there with the VIX this low, for lack of a better term, you're not seeing a lot of reversals. Stocks just continue to float and do what they will. Google, same thing.
How
Microsoft,
about Freeport, Mike? Copper's had a very big pullback in the last week or so. It's back to the breakout. Okay.
Coach,
Good.
the one remaining stock that I have out of those metals, if you will, is the old SLW. It's still WPM. And why shouldn't I? It's acting best out of all.
It
No?
is. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the high of the stocks, what, 46, it gave back, what, 8%?
Yeah.
What AEM would that give back? I don't know.
More.
57. Well, we gave back 10%. Yeah, well, whatever, give or take. But it
Yeah.
still is I mean, the moving averages are in peril here, not to sound corny. Here they're rolling over. I might have, you know what? I'm definitely not, this is not one of the positions where you're like, wow, this is acting great. Why don't you add to it? You know what I mean? Now I'm playing defense instead of offense on this particular.
Got you.
That's all.
Okay. All right. So oils, Mike, last week oil took a drubbing. It's trying to recover today. I was like, see, that was a day in Chevron up there. That one green bar, I think, was earnings. That was a great short.
No, that was when when the stock that never broke in hindsight. And it
Yeah,
doesn't
never
listen,
broke to new
it
highs.
doesn't mean it could have been Micron, it could have been Chevron, it could have
Yeah.
been Merck. I'm telling
Yeah.
you about a pattern and how price action reacts accordingly, not to sound corny again, to rotation. And the rotation was evident as well. The stock announced its $75 billion buyback. Well, 75 billion, I don't know. And then the next day they had earnings, never broke a new high on
Yeah.
all that news. I know by no means that, I mean, that is how price reaction trumps sentiment. It was almost a given that would make a new high after that buyback and earnings, that it just completely faked everybody out. People took profits. I'm not, you asked me what here, I'm not really sure. Let's look at the rest of them.
Yeah, I mean, if we take those lows out, there's another 20
No, I don't like
bucks.
Exxon's hanging in there, but the other ones that were former best of breeds acting through this are in precarious positions.
Yeah, they are.
PXD was the best of breed for a while.
Yeah.
The other Fang was a best of breed for a while. So it's really up to Chevron. If you want to play it, and go to the XLE. I would play the XLE. I would play the XLE. I wouldn't even point out Chevron, because Chevron will be the first one to go down even further than the ones down now to bring the XLE down further, in my opinion, if it doesn't work out. No?
Okay.
That's what
All right. So we've covered a lot of ground. Semis.
Okay.
They've been on
This is all you
fire.
need to know. It has ON Semiconductor, as I'm not
Yeah.
alone on this. It's actually sort of a crowded trade, but it
Still
turned
looks
out to
great.
no, this
Yep.
is acted well. Had earnings yesterday. Was the shake? Oh, look at yesterday. And I bought it and I scalped it. I said, "Wow, this thing's down too much." So ON had earnings yesterday. It closed at 80. Well, that was yesterday's close. You could have ON yesterday, February 2nd. Yeah, with it. Yesterday was 78. Now it's 82. Yesterday's high was 85 after earnings. ON Semiconductor, to answer your question, is the best acting semi right now. Nevada acting very well. Look at Nevada.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you not buy? I mean, if this was a different market, I mean, how do you not buy that? The flag, the volume came back on low volume. RSI is appropriate, way above the moving averages.
Bottomed before the
weekly.
market did.
Yeah,
Everything.
And you can go to AEHR, which is also the best of breed semi, if you will, right here. So the
Wow.
semis, what I learned are the semis, the banks, and the home builders really led the market out of this first. Home builders
Okay.
it was a horse race between the home builders and the banks, coach, if you remember. Then the
Yeah.
semis came on, and those three are still hanging in there.
Okay.
You know,
So you have
oil
you've
pullback, that's
identified.
good.
Yeah, you've identified the relative strength and leadership in the market right now. That's a good thing to close on. So the banks, the home builders are hanging in there, and now tech has taken the lead. And there's some rotation out of things that fall on your foot, like metals, copper,
Okay.
and oil.
And even these, even the led the run up, the solar stocks. EMPH was the best of breed. They couldn't get enough of it. Fizzler, second best of
Wow.
breed.
Yeah,
Fizzler, by
yeah,
the way, hanging in there on the
that,
daily. But then they took down the other ones that were heavy, like Run. I mean,
yeah,
this one, they took down, what else? Oh, and the last one I'll use as example is SEDG is actually acting very well, but that one has a semi in it. SEDG, if you want to play like a solar semi, it's a funky stock. Anyway, so the rotation is still evident. It's good long term that the golds, the oils, and some of these cyclicals pulled back, Sands, DuPont. But Walmart's still broken a little bit. Coin, they don't want that. That's actually a positive. There was a time last year where the Nasdaq was going hand in hand with Bitcoin. That's no
yeah,
longer evident.
yeah.
Amazon, another stock I scooped today. Let me just get to that. Came right down right here to the 20-day. So I said, all right, what was the 20-day in white? The 20 days what? Where's white? 98.44 up here. So I said, all right, I'll take a stab. 98.44, where I had my first buy of Amazon. So there was support. I sold it at 99.50. I'm not really in it to, really make $1.40 on $100 stock, but I felt confident. I mean, I cut it to the pending 98.50. That was the moving average. And that was it. That was basically most of the trades today. I'm in SPR now, short, because Boeing is in there. I shorted SPR. Where's that now?
That's
Look at the spike it just did. I just
yeah,
missed it.
yeah.
What was that spike about? But I'm short SPR. Actually, I'm short a little more of it now. Did that spike up? But I should know why it spiked up, but we won't. Next. So you know what? Meta's hanging in there. It's going back to mega caps. It's
Yeah.
Apple. If you see, it's Apple,
Yeah,
Google,
Apple.
Microsoft, Meta.
Mhm.
Nevada is acting well. Everything else, they're taking some, is resting. General Motors. Okay, big deal. Look at this chart long term. All right. Is it over because after the run that General Motors had?
No,
Oh,
I don't think so.
no. I mean,
It's on the
something like
verge of a breakout over 41.
no, exactly. Uber is coming
Yeah.
out with earnings tonight. I think everybody's on this Uber. The reason why I'm not going to buy some lotto polls, it's just everybody's on this thing. Everybody loves Uber here. I
Okay.
don't know, but if it was, listen, it's not for me to be completely contrary. If 999,000 people jump off the bridge, I'm not going to be the one. But this is a little crowded thought for me. But Uber is taking a lot of options. A stock like VRAR is acting very well. I said yesterday, taking a ton of options. Price action, the chart, and
Yeah.
good. That tells the story there. So there's always something to do. We give you on TradeGATEHub, whether it's short term, middle term, as we had somebody ask this morning, or a swing trader. So I'll leave it at that. I'm going to.
Okay, Mike, and let's stay on top and in touch with each other to find good spots for pullbacks on the miners, because the wave that we just had, the next one could be 1.168 of the first wave. So that means if you had a $10 move in the stock after this low, the potential would be 16 for the next wave. Okay, buddy?
No, I got you noted, coach. That's going to get the highlighter as well. So I don't have to go watch your 9:30 video.
Great working with you, my
You
trading
too,
warrior
coach.
brother.
Trade well. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Powell speaks today. Some earnings still here. Both will be posted after and already posted on